This is it. The moment you have all been waiting for. After a full month of waiting for my last upload related to this 3-link series, I bring to you the Green Lantern Omnibus number 3 by Geoff Johns. Finally, I finished this book, and holy crap, was it amazing. There's a lot to unpack here. But before we get into the storyline and all that stuff, let's talk a little bit about the aesthetics of the book, the sleeve, the actual hardcover, and then also the art and the price. So we'll start with the price, though. This book starts off at $125 US or $163 Canadian. That's all before taxes and at cover price. Mind you, you could probably find some of these discounted online somewhere. I'm sure Amazon has discounts. I'll leave a link to this omnibus in the description below. That is the price. The cover. This is a sleeve. If you've seen my most recent video, you've probably already seen a sneak peek of this sleeve, mainly because I showed it. So, yeah. I know there's a little bit of a glare here. I got a lot of intense light behind me. So you can see we've got Geoff Johns, Doug Mahnke, Christian Alamy, Keith Champagne, Tom Nguyen, and Mark Irwin. So, pretty cool. There's a spine matching up, of course, with all the other ones up there on the shelf. A lot of new additions on this shelf. Leave a comment if someone can figure out what the big new book is on this bookshelf before the end of the video. I will be quite impressed. But yeah, I've gotten some new books, but one in particular, it's a pretty big one I'm hoping to review soon enough. So let's describe or read the description on the back. The end. The dawn of brightest day has broken, but the fight to protect the universe is far from over for Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. The entities, embodiments of each color of the emotional spectrum have been released, and the damage they cause will change the Corps forever. Facing new enemies as well as threats from within the Green Lantern Corps itself, Hal will be forced to make alliances he never thought possible. And when the greatest villain the Green Lanterns have ever faced resurfaces, all hope will rest on a new lantern to light the way for the future of the Corps. Visionary writer Geoff Johns bids farewell to the character and the concept he redefined for a new generation, creating one of the definitive superhero sagas of the new millennium. This epic conclusion features stunning art by superstars Doug Mahnke, Christian Alamy, Keith Champagne, Tom Nguyen, Mark Irwin, and more. What does this book include? This third and final volume in the series of the Omnibus hardcovers collects Green Lantern Volume 4, so that's 53 through 67. Green Lantern Larfree's Christmas Special. Oh, what a tearjerker. Green Lantern Corps 58 through 60. Green Lantern Emerald Warriors 8 through 10. Green Lantern Volume 5, so it's 0 through 20. And Green Lantern Volume 5 Annual 1. So the reason why Volume 5 starts off at 0 through 20 is because it's actually the beginning of the New 52 of Green Lantern. So keep that in mind. This does include some New 52 stuff in it, which is pretty cool. It's a perfect segue. Next, let's look at this hardcover art. It's pretty impressive. So you've got, the blue and Green Lantern Corps here. Then you've got, of course, we've got Hal Jordan up on this side. And then we got the red lanterns and the yellow lanterns all up here. Or actually, no, that's the orange lanterns. The light was glaring on me. I'm just surprised we don't see any other... Is it just those? Oh, there's also the Sapphires and the Indigo Tribe down here. I thought Atrocious might have been on this cover, but I guess not. Anyways, this art is amazing. What an amazing wraparound cover. Like, it just looks so beautiful. Which is not unique to just the cover. This entire book looks absolutely stunning. I'll show you a few. There's quite a few beautiful pages that just kind of blow my mind. So, a little bit of a rundown of the story. I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible. Of course, I have to touch a little bit on the concept and the plot to kind of give an idea of what I thought about the story and stuff like that. So, if you don't want to know anything at all, even the little tiniest bit of a detail, this probably isn't the video for you. I mean, you clicked on a review/overview. But I promise I'll try my best to be as spoiler-free as possible. Anyways. So, as the description of this book included, the entities are out and about. They're doing their thing after, brightest day. But there is a little bit of a problem. someone is out there, we don't know who, well, I know now, but we don't know who is out there trying to collect the entities for their own purposes, and we have zero clue why. But we do know that he's already caught a few, and it's a little worrisome because it's like someone who can control entities, that's a whole other level of strength. So anyways, Hal Jordan finds this out, and he's just like, oh my gosh, this is my number one priority. I gotta make alliances that to help out with this situation that I never thought I could ever make, as the back of the book described. Now, another issue is that the entities that are still loose are finding hosts. They're clinging on to human beings, and they're merging with them. So, if someone presents a lot of hope, the entity will enter them and be like, okay, yeah, you're a great embodiment of hope. You will now be my host. And so, like, they're kind of just going around, and that's true for, like, Parallax and all those other guys. And, so it's basically just, like, kind of a goose chase, trying to find where these entities are and hunt down them before they capture a host, and, like, who knows what they could do. It depends on the entity, really. So another thing, a little bit of a spoiler warning, not a big one, but, to be touched on. So in previous Omnis, I don't think I discussed this, but there was, like, a Book of Fear, basically, like, a history of the Sinestro Corps, and all that, and every single Corps has a book. So the Book of OA has its history of the Green Lantern Corps, and so on and so forth. Anyways, a book is discovered that we've never seen before that holds great stories of past and future that actually highlight an old secret of the Guardians. We don't know, I'm not going to say what it is, but it is a big one. Some old characters that we haven't seen in a long time come to the storyline. It's like, wow, that's awesome that they're reintegrating these characters and they're bringing back, like, these moments, these throwbacks. Basically, they're a perfect little bit of, like, little pinch of sugar on there for anyone who's been reading older books. And then on top of that, not from the Book of Black, but the origin of the Indigo Tribe is actually unveiled. Finally, we had zero clue who these guys were, where they came from, what their motives were, and we got that answer in this book. So that was pretty awesome. And like the book described, a new Green Lantern was introduced. If you're reading the New 52 and Rebirth Green Lantern, you already know who this person is. But yeah, pretty cool Green Lantern too, to say the least. This book, this third omnibus, is quite possibly the best ending to a saga I have ever read in my entire, well, it's not a big time, but entire, like, year and a half of collecting books. I have a lot of books up here. I've read a lot. Okay? And this was a perfect ending to a saga. The thing with some reader arcs is, they'll finish their arc, but they're always leaving, they're kind of passing on the mantle to the next author. And so you're left wanting more. You are. Because you love the run and you want to read more about this story, and that's the truth behind it. What Geoff Johns does is he not only passes on the mantle, but he makes it so that if you wanted to, you could stop right here. This story perfectly ends the Green Lantern saga. You could read this from, volume 1, 2, and 3 of the Omnis, and that could be all you'd ever have to read about the Green Lantern, and you could be content with what you've read. That was it. You're happy with that. That was a perfect story, wrapped, bundled, little ribbon on it. Like, it was perfect. I can't even begin to explain how perfect this ending was in terms of not only setting up future authors, but also in a way concluding his story arc in a way that makes you being like, if I wanted to, I could stop here. I don't need to read more Green Lantern to be satisfied. But why would I stop here? There's so much I can read. There's a New 52 and Rebirth. Like, there's so many possibilities. There's Green Lantern Season 2. I'm not even sure what that's about. But Geoff Johns' story, like the 3 Omnis, is a perfect little, I want to say, like, contained story. But, like, this is 3 Omnis we're talking about here. This is a lot of reading. But if you collect all 3 of these Omnis, you can safely say you've read a decent, solid, conclusive Green Lantern story that comes to an absolutely mint ending. I loved it. Honestly, this book, it's up there for me in terms of my favorite books I've read. The run is up there for me. But this book, it takes the elements from the first and the second Omni, so it brings up the Sinestro Core War, it brings up the Blackest Night, the Brightest Day. It takes all those elements from previous Omnis and bundles them together, incorporates it into the main story. Like, this is what everything has been leading up towards, and now you finally get to see it. Like, you thought the last event was epic, you don't even know. This Omni was clean. Now, one thing I will say is that there were obviously some missing elements when you started getting into the New 52 side of things. So once you started reading, Volume 5, that stuff, you can see on the cover here, Kyle Rayner is a White Lantern. Now, I don't remember if they touched on that. I know, like, they were touching on, like, the Lantern finding a host in Brightest Day. I don't remember if Kyle Rayner was chosen or not, but like, he also shows up with all these other lanterns. He shows up with Atrocious's cat. I don't even remember the name, and I feel bad for that because it's actually a really cool character. And like, obviously that's branching off from the New 52 New Guardians line. That was concurrently being released as the New 52 Geoff Johns volumes were coming out. So you miss a little bit of context there, but honestly, it's not necessary. You don't really have to read any of that stuff. And you'd be absolutely content, because I sure as hell was. So, yeah. But before moving on, let's take a look at the art in this book, because I'm sure you guys are wondering. I mean, you've seen the last two Omnis, and I'm telling you, this art holds up. There was one issue. It was relevant to the story, which is why they kept it in, but the art style just completely flipped, and it was like, what? Okay, I mean, like, I don't mind it, but, like, that's so weird. Oh, here's a great one. Here's one of Sinestro. Right there. Here we see we've got Black Hand in here. What's he doing here? I'm not gonna tell you. Gotta read to figure that one out. Wonder what the Black Hand could be doing. Here's a bit of a cross cover. It starts off on one side, goes to the other. A little bit of a highlight of the gutter loss as well. It's there, it's noticeable, but you can deal with it. How does this book hold? Like, how does it read in terms of if you're trying to read through it? Honestly, when I was first reading through this book, it was a bit of a bear trap. Like, starting off, if you're not like 5 or 6 issues in, this thing's gonna close up on you. You've got to hold it. Towards the end, surprisingly, it held up a lot better, which surprised me. Because I didn't think there'd be any kind of bias there. I mean, it's a brand new book. Oh, here's some amazing art. Right here. It's like black and white style. It was something new, something fresh. I remember looking at this and thinking, it's a little odd, but honestly, I vibe with it. It was clean. Oh, we got Sinestro up in here. Holding a gun to some lantern. Who is that guy? Never know. Or maybe you will, if you read the book. Excellent art throughout the entire Omni. Super happy about reading this, and super happy that I got it when I did. I honestly, this is one of those series that I could possibly reread, and there's only been one that I'd be willing to reread purely out of just casual curiosity, or like just a willing to. The New 52 Batman by Scott Snyder. That one right there is killer, and I'm really excited to read The Flash by Mark Waid and eventually Geoff Johns, because I've heard great things, and if Geoff did as good in Flash as he did Green Lantern, I'm gonna be very happy. And I've heard Mark Waid's run to some people is even better than Geoff Johns, so I'm curious about that. But yeah, this book, phenomenal. Sorry the video's been a bit longer. Now that we're at the end of the video, before I let you go, I'm going to point out the book that I will hopefully be reviewing and having read in time to you guys that I just got. If you noticed anything new on my bookshelf, other than the fact that I've moved Brightest Day down to like a lower shelf because I was running out of space, it would be Superman. I've got a lot of new Superman stuff, and I'm really excited to read it through it and review it. Once I've got Nightfall stuff, I'll read through that entire thing and I'll review it as well. But the Superman New 52 Omnibus by Grant Morrison, I just picked that up. It's a fairly new Omni, so I'm hoping to get through it, get the review out soon so that you guys can kind of get, a fresh take at it. I'm really excited to read it. I heard from a lot of like Superman fans that like it. The New 52 run wasn't that great. mainly because it was a bit of a betrayal to the classic Superman that we always knew and love. Superman and Lois kind of had a hard reset on their relationship because, it's fresh, it's new, and everything's been kind of set back. Honestly, I'm going in with an open mind. I've picked up some older Superman, so I can go in there with a little bit of an idea of why people think it might be disrespectful, or not disrespectful, but just not to the quality or the standard that older ones were. I'm also hoping to read the Death of Superman run, so Reign of Superman, Funeral for a Friend, all that stuff. I'm hoping to read all that. I've got Superman Birthright, and then also, of course, the Grant Morrison Omni. So I'm probably going to open that one up as soon as possible. I've been picking between either starting to read that or starting to read Flash, and I'm not sure what to do. But by the time this video is out, I will have already picked. Anyways, enough bantering, just to give you guys a bit of a hint of what's coming up. More Superman stuff, some Flash stuff, some Batman stuff. A little less Green Lantern stuff until I've read through what I've got, and then I can invest in the New 52 run and give you guys an idea of what I thought about that. Thank you guys for watching the video so much. I'm so sorry it took so long to get this video out. I've been super excited to release it. But yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment down below. What do you want me to review in the future? Your comments are how I knew this Omni review was kind of, it was requested heavily to my standards, at least, and the fact that I normally don't get many people actually requesting things from me. But the Green Lantern and the Final Crisis reviews, those were ones that were kind of can't wait to see those, really want to see those. So if you have any other reviews you want me to do, I am more than open to doing them. Like I said in my previous video, I'm more than willing to reread certain runs if you guys want a fresh take on them. But yeah, Superman, New 52, Omni is definitely coming out as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching the video. Stay safe and healthy amongst the COVID-19 pandemic, and I will see you in the next one.